Welcome everyone to the final day here at the SBENU Star League Challenger. We're going to find out our final 2 players that will move on to the round of 16. I'm Wolf. With me is the Moonglade. How are you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Very excited for today. We finally get to see a foreigner play in Star League again. Happens every challenger. We get to invite a couple players over, and today we do have Snute playing. Unfortunately, Tudming had to pull out due to MERS.
Yeah, and a lot of people, you know, we're talking about this as like a point of high discussion. I noticed in some of the forums. MERS is still going on in Korea. The panic has definitely settled down, but there are legitimate concerns about people traveling to Korea. Not necessarily about, you know, for their own concern, but for the concern of their families returning, and also people are worried that, you know, the government might not allow them to go because they're worried that they might bring it back. So it's hard for you know, Chinese players to come over here right now on a proper visa and stuff like that.
Yeah, especially for the Chinese players because of how SARS affected China back when that was an epidemic. So it's understandable that he might be afraid. It's just disappointing.
Yeah, it really is.
At least we got Snute here, and I dare say Snute has a much better shot than Tudming ever would.
Oh, absolutely. Snute, one of our best foreigners. Let's take a look at this format. Remind you guys just one more time. Challenger is, of course, a set of best of 5s, just like Code. Same format that seeds into the dual tournament round of 16. Code's format, best of 3s, then the round of 8, and everything else you'd expect continues from there after the group stage. Now, we have most of our players decided who has moved on, but as you guys can see here, the grayed out players have been eliminated. And if you look, Snute is the last foreigner left from our global seeds, as Tudming did disqualify himself by not showing. And of course, Snute will be the first foreigner, non-Chinese foreigner, since Scarlet to play in the Star League.
Yeah, that is true. It's been quite a while. Scarlet had a good shot at it. Caused a little bit of upset. She was playing very aggressive that day. I'm curious to see what she's going to bust out for us today up against someone like INnoVation, who is very, you know, obviously very greedy, very macro-oriented more than anything else.
Yeah. So here's our match schedule. INnoVation versus Snute will be the first match. Rain versus Tudming not going to happen today, of course. And our final match will actually be Life, one of our best Zerg players in the world, up against Alive today for a ZBT. So 2 ZBTs today.
The best kind of matchup, so it's going to be just a fun day. It's disappointing we don't have that third match, but we should get some pretty good stuff going on here.
Absolutely.
I'm interested to see if INnoVation's going to be doing like the kind of the ritual Koreans do to foreigners out here and try and just cheese him out the first game.
Yeah, I think we might see a little bit of Hellbat action, perhaps some timing pushes. Perhaps a barracks, like a 2 barracks player or proxy Reaper, although INnoVation isn't really known for playing that type of style. It's absolutely possible that we do see something like that. And Life has been a bit inconsistent recently in the ZBT matchup, so people are wondering, you know, how well he's going to perform today. I think most people would favor him very highly, though, against a player like Alive.
Especially because it is Alive. I think Life should be able to slaughter this guy. That would only make sense. Granted, Life has been having trouble in the matchup, but he's been having it against much higher caliber Terran players.
Yeah, exactly. Live definitely skirting through, making it through this qualifier, surprising a lot of people. Trying to make a bit of a comeback. Now, what's interesting is Snute is currently living with SBENU right now, so he actually came here with Alive today, so they might have been discussing some strategies together, trying to figure this out, so they're both preparing for the same opponent, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Snute said he'd been here for a few days as well, so he hasn't had much of a chance to practice too much, but just settling in. You know, he came from Europe. He's quite a long trip as well. He's dealing with jet lag. And he was playing a tournament last weekend too, so I'm kind of concerned, like, how much practice has Snute had just sitting down and grinding out the games that you need, especially up against a player like this who lives in Korea, lives in that pro house, and is just grinding day in, day out as a mechanical player.
Absolutely, and keep in mind, INnoVation has had a lot of rest time because there's not been any leagues really going on. He just finished Pro League Season 3, or Round 3, excuse me, for this season. So he's had a bit of downtime to actually prepare for leagues like this. And like you say, he's just kind of chilling in his home ground. Now, Snute is no stranger to Korea. He's been here several times. He's traveled here even before Starcraft 2 was released and stayed with CJ a long time ago as well. So he actually has been to Korea quite a lot. He's very familiar with the culture. He's very familiar with living in a team house, practicing 12 hours a day. He's been there. He's done that. And really, my biggest fear for him is his mindset and, of course, jet lag. I think those are the 2 biggest things that are going to be on his mind right now.
Yeah, well, you know, another thing with Snute is because he is so used to traveling so much, he must have it down pretty decently to kind of recover fairly quickly from all this jet lag and traveling. He's been doing it for years now, and he's one of the most successful foreigners, so he certainly finds success in it.
Absolutely. I mean, he's found success traveling all over the world, and now comes here to Korea yet again to challenge some of the best. Here are our picks and bans. INnoVation eliminates Expedition Lost, one of our bigger maps. and or sorry, one of our Zerker maps, I should say, and then one of our bigger maps is Iron Fortress, with Snute does eliminate.
Yeah, pretty ugly map there. Fair enough from both sides. Bonnie Research going to be starting off. Now, INnoVation really isn't one of those players that loves to go mech against Zerg, but maybe he'll make an exception today. It is a good map for it. Then we're going to make Dakota. Dakota's also a pretty decent-sized Terran map. Echo, Cactus Valley, then Deadwing as well.
So our two bigger maps that are left on the pool are going to be the last ones. So the rest of the first three are two-player maps, which allows INnoVation to be very aggressive early on.
Yeah.
Should that be what he plans to do?
Well, same from Snute, that's for sure. One way that we've seen Zerg punish INnoVation is that early aggression. Granted, it will be pretty hard to try and do that on Varney Research, one of the more safer maps to be as greedy as you possibly can be.
All right, guys, the map is loaded. The lobby is up right now. We have a non-Chinese foreigner attempting to make it the round of 16. If he does it, he'll be the first foreigner in this tournament to ever do so in StarCraft 2. INnoVation, the big favorite, one of the best Terrans in the world. All about his mechanics, all about his macro. Some call him the robot. Looks like the map is loading. It's time to jump into game number 1. INnoVation versus Snute. Down here in the bottom center in blue, it's SKT INnoVation.
The robot. And up here in the top, we do have the foreign challenger. We got Snute repping the rest of the world.
Yeah, on Alugalak. Yeah, Alugalak. On that site, he's currently ranked number 1 for Norway, and number 2 in foreigners in those points. And he has some history with INnoVation as well. INnoVation actually in 2013 knocked him out of going to the WCS finals by winning the GSL. It was the only way Snute could get through, as if INnoVation lost.
I remember that.
And because INnoVation won the GSL, he eliminated Snute from participating in that final. So now, no doubt, Snute has some feelings about that, even though it's many years past.
Yeah, I mean, always looking at INnoVation, quite a scary Terran to be up against. Just that macro style, which is so scary to deal with. We are actually going to see a pull first from Snute as well.
Yeah. Well, there's several reasons why he might do this. The main reason, probably expecting a cheese from Koreans on game 1.
Just safety first. You know, you just make sure you can make it to that mid-game so you can play out the game you want to. As we have said earlier, the Koreans have loved to try and cheese out foreigners early on in the series, and just try and have it's kind of like a rite of passage for a lot of these players.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes the hatchery down now, safely behind this. Not looking too nervous today at all.
No, got to get a good look at him.
Oh.
It's great to see a foreigner back here, giving it a good go.
That's really, really awesome. I love that we actually have this global seed system.
Yeah. And INnoVation just going for that standard CC first. Plenty of greed behind this. Throwing to that 1 racks and now gas.
Yeah. And that scout is going to come out across the map, and we'll see that it is going to be a pool first that he's up against. It's going to make him feel a little bit better, actually, saying, oh, wow, I'm pretty safe against this. And obviously he won't overcommit to Reapers because they're not going to get much done with the pool first.
No, I think you might even try and skip the Reapers and simply just go for that really quick factory, take that map control. I'm very curious to see if INnoVation might dabble in the mech this time. He seems like a player that should, but he never really does. It's always been that bio style against Zerg more often than not.
Yeah.
I can't actually remember the last time I saw him go mech.
I can't either, to be honest with you. And it feels like he'd be really good at it because it's a very patient style that allows him to macro incredibly well if he can hold on to a third base. He's very good at defending. He's very good to macro up and do these mid-game pushes that are so strong. Really in all matchups, he's quite good at it. But yeah, we don't see him do that at all. And that would be one way to change things up against a foreigner here. And that's going to be, again, like you said, skipping the Reaper, adding the quicker factory.
And it's also like a sort of a confidence thing as well. You might be able to like step outside of what you normally do and just go for a mech because you think you are favored against a player like a foreign player, which we very rarely see in Korea these days.
Yeah. It's a bit sad, but it's really, really hard. I mean, Korean StarCraft 2 is at its highest level it's ever been. We don't have players living here regularly. We do have players sometimes travel for brief periods of time. Rumor has it Hearthstone will be staying here soon as well.
That'd be cool.
State's still here, but hasn't actually really showed up for any qualifiers recently.
Is he still here?
As far as I know. Actually, he might have gone back to LA for a bit, I was reading.
Yeah, I think he might not be here anymore, but we never see him.
Yeah, he definitely hasn't shown up to any qualifiers in recent times.
Well, I hope he hasn't been here because, yeah, he hasn't been showing up these qualifiers. He better not be here. I'll find him, man.
Yeah, I think he might have gone like on vacation a little bit, but yeah, it definitely, we don't see as many players attempting to qualify. And back in the old days of the GSL, we'd have like 10 players trying to qualify every time.
Yeah, man, we get everyone there, like players that like, they're like in gold, but they're like, you know what, I'm going to go to GSL, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And they try and they fail, but I mean, good on them for trying as well.
Yeah. Well, luckily we have the seeding system here in Korea, which is really cool, which we used to have in Code S, you know, in GSL, but we don't anymore. This is going to be a Viking out first here to push this Overlord off. He has a tech lab here.
Yeah, you know what? It looks like it's going to be a Banshee follow-up after this Viking. So it's getting scattered out here. But, you know, well, let's see. INnoVation really keeping his options open right now. Third CC goes down, and just a lot of Hellions on the way.
Snute playing very carefully. A very early Baneling Nest, like at 6:30 or so, as well as a Spine Crawler going down right now. His Overlord will scout this third CC, which is going to let him rest a little bit easier. Do you think he's preparing for aggression instead, actually, with this Baneling Nest?
I'm getting that impression for sure. He's kind of been hiding away for now. He's making a lot of lings, getting that Baneling Nest early as well. Maybe it's defensively. We'll see exactly what Snute wants to do. He's going into droning again, so I think he was just planning on crushing what might be coming his way, perhaps like a Hellbat push.
Yeah.
Hellbat timing with a Banshee.
I think that's what he was thinking might have been coming his way. It is going to be mech. Oh my god, we speak of the devil. 2 armories.
Well, this is the map to do it on. Like, this is actually the map to mech on, except for Deadwing. The only other one that's like, it's so obviously, it's so easy to do. Snute, I think, is going to be pretty good against this kind of style, though. Snute is one of the most patient Zerg players as well. Unfortunately, there really isn't much use of Swarmos anymore, which is kind of what made Snute so powerful in the last patch. He just had so much success against Protoss mainly, but also Mech Terrans.
Oh, well, he definitely was part of the reason why that unit got changed, right, with how much success he had in Europe.
Yeah, he did what everyone had to do, though. He showed the way of how Zergs would deal with these late-game sort of styles. Now that there isn't really any hard counter to that late game, that's why we do see a lot more mech these days. That's why we see a lot of mech on this map, because it's so easy to get those 4 bases up and running.
Yeah, and of course the ship and ground weapons are combined currently still in this patch. So you're going to get upgrades for your Banshees and your Vikings as well, even your BCs in the late game if you end up going down that route. So we see Snute, again, very carefully adding some extra Spore Crawlers here. I think he's starting to realize what's going on. He was very careful with his Queens there. Didn't waste any of his 6 Banelings that he made to defend those Hellions.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm loving this amount of Queens he has. Like, he's actually setting himself up fantastically to fight against a mech player. He's going to have the sickest creep spread. He's going to get to the middle of the map very quickly. He's going to be able to take another base. He's kind of made every right choice so far to be dealing with this kind of style.
Well, this Queen here already going to take some damage. Does retreat to that Spore Crawler. 2 Banshees can one-shot a drone, but he wanted to get the Queen instead. Not going to be able to. Now heading over to the main base, and this Queen, again, a bit out of position, but he is retreating it back. Does it have a transfuse? No. And it's going to lose quite a few drones here, actually, with a one-shot on the Banshees.
Yeah, one scary thing here. Snute may have just forgotten Lair Tech. He's only getting it now in the main base. He's had a lot of money for a while now. He could have done it. Really investing in a lot of Queens, though, so maybe he wasn't in a hurry to go for that Lair Tech.
Yeah.
Taking a bit of damage, but not too much.
Yeah, if he had Overseers, though, that would have been super easy to deflect. You know, either way, like you said, not too much damage taken. He's still 10 Harvesters up here, and the Queens are going to push these Banshees away. In fact, one of them down in the red now, so not going to be able to stick around too long with that one. 1-1 upgrades also keeping up here pretty well with Snute. Not too far behind on those. But again, he's up against mech, and he just doesn't have like a Roach Warren yet, for example. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I kind of get the impression maybe he wants to go for that faster Hive, maybe get Ultras out, which is why we are seeing go for that melee upgrade as well. Plus a lot of Queens, which are going to help out with having that decent amount of transfuses to keep them alive.
All these Hellions over here get hit by massive Baneling hits.
Beautiful hits there. Just not paying attention with those Hellions. I think he was focusing on the Banshee harassment.
Yeah, that really hurt. Roach Warren and Spire going down now, as well as Baneling's speed, Overlord's speed as well. And Snute, gearing up here for the mid game. Overseer is finally going to confirm 100% how many factories there are. This is going to be a huge mech commitment because saw a ton of Hellions. That's a pretty good indicator, but now he knows for sure.
That's right. A little bit behind in those upgrades. He's going to have to get 2-2 out pretty quickly to try and stay on par with that. One of the powers of mech. They're so efficient with their upgrading, and INnoVation looking to secure this 4th base, and I don't think there's really any way Snute's going to be able to stop this.
Yeah. This is, I mean, with Banelings and Lings, with Banelings just now getting speed, the Roaches he doesn't have, and they're going to be slow Roaches when he does make them initially. There's no way he can attack for this. Look at the attempt. And try to grab a siege tank or two.
It's not too bad at all. He might be able to get a siege tank or two. Last time is not helping out these tanks at all. Gets one.
Gets one. The Hellions weren't there to help out. They would have definitely easily cleaned that up. But the supplies are starting to tell a very scary story here. Snute does have 1,000 gas, but he's going to need more than that to actually make up for this gap. He's doing a little bit of everything. He's getting some Hydralisk tech out as well as the Roach Warren. Now starting some Roaches.
Yeah. Dealing with these Hellbats as well. Nicely done there. Keeping that creep spread strong, heading towards that 4th base of INnoVation. But now we do see that Planetary is finished. He's making a lot more CC. He's making a CC wall, actually. That's disgusting. Yeah, I
think at this point he knows that with that little feeble attack, that he's got this base for sure held down. He's got a bunch of extra minerals from that. And he could just make some extra mules, maybe even make one of those into a planetary to hold that wall tight. It's really up to him. Big Hellion run by again here. These have blue flame now.
Yeah, still some Banshees, some Banshees behind this, but some Banelings in position to help out against it. Not finding any drone damage with those Hellions.
Yeah, and no Overseer ready just yet, actually. He's going to get a Queen here. No Transfuse to save her. And a second Queen will get saved. And now he's got Hydra here. These Banshees will finally be cleaned up. But meanwhile, INnoVation is clearing up that pretty thick creep spread on the right side, slowing that down.
Yep, 2-2 mech just finishing up as well. Snute's going to have to start relaying these tumors if he wants to really keep that map presence with the creep. Will make it a lot easier when finally that death ball moves across the map from the mech Terran.
I feel like INnoVation is very happy that there have been no Mutalisks. Yeah. He's very comfortable with defending against the ground army right now, so he's adding 4 starports. He even got the high-sec auto-tracking upgrade, which is kind of crazy. It's going to give him more range on basically all of his static defense, as well as even like auto-turrets later on in the game.
Yeah, it's going to stop Roaches getting behind his mineral lines and then doing damage to where a planetary is. And I feel like Snute definitely has given INnoVation a lot of time. Getting a mech Terran to 4 base like this without really any pressure is a scary thing, but it seems like Snute has really found his point now. He's got making 3 Vipers. He's going to be looking for that blinding cloud timing before that army gets too big, but I wonder if it's too late.
Yeah, that's the question. Is it too late? Fusion Core is on the way, so that battle cruiser kind of just talking about looks like it will actually occur. Drone's trying to fight that Hellion. It will escape. 3 kills, all on the 1 Hellion, and my concern here is that INnoVation is going to be allowed to build the ultimate composition. And he's got such a huge bank. He's already building 800 gas. That's how he made it all the way into the base. What I do like what Snute's doing is his creep spread is constant. He's never slacked off on that. He keeps pushing it out. Even when it gets denied, he continues to push it forward. So he's always got that buffer to help his ground units. And it's also going to slow the Terran's movement forward eventually once INnoVation does start to push out.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if Snute's actually going to commit to an attack here. Is he simply just going to be waiting on his creep, make the Terran make the first move, and then try and go for it. But man, there's already such a beautiful composition from INnoVation already. He has so many Vikings that are going to essentially one-shot these Vipers.
Yeah.
And the tank spread is amazing. The upgrades, 3-3 are on the way, and now 3 battle cruisers as well.
Yeah, and when those 3 battle cruisers come out, they're going to be able to do so much damage with support. Plus, they're going to have those 3-3 upgrades. We have the Flying Locust upgrade on the way. This may be a mistake, but no Swarmos yet. And Snute, like you said, is known for that sort of play.
They still have a place, though they aren't that useful when it comes to the late game, especially in these kind of situations. I have seen, I think it might have been Snute try this before, where he made like nothing but Infestors, Swarmos with the Flying Locusts, and maybe Queens to help out. And it's kind of a hard trade against Mech these days because Mech can still clean it up pretty quickly. Yeah. It might be his last resort, maybe the place where he has to go in the end of all things when he finally fights with his Roach Hydra army. His Remax might be the Swarm Host.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty pretty good chance we might see that. We'll have to wait and see. Hellions do get denied here. That one Hellion got 6 kills, though, on its own, so that's a bit unfortunate. We do see this army finally start to move forward here. That base to the bottom right, the one that's above INnoVation's main, looks like it will actually survive, so that's pretty important, too. That's a gold base that is pretty far away from this Terran army, so you should be able to mine from it pretty decently.
Man, there are so many command centers out now. I love that little block he made with those 5 command centers to like the right of his third base, just completely blocking off the lane. It makes it so hard for the Zerg to engage at all.
All right, it looks like we might see some ducks here.
Yeah, it looks like he might be looking for it, but it's going to be hard because there's so many Vikings just in the way.
Yeah, those BCs, like, even if he grabs one, it might be able to escape. Tons of spine crawlers being added here. It might just be for a cancel and remax, but wait and see. Okay, he's going to come over here and actually start working away at some of this infrastructure. Going to grab a siege tank. Good positioning here, just knowing that INnoVation was totally focused on the left side. He's going to come around here and actually knock down some of these orbitals. Grabs some BCs as well. And we'll try to target them down. He pulls the Vikings back. Ends up being a pretty good trade, actually.
Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, good positioning with the Vikings as well. These Vikings can't get to them. The Rogers are trading with tanks. You got to be careful now. The rest of the army is making its way over. We're going to take out one last BC and a few more Vikings.
Yeah,
not bad.
Gets away. He's got a nice bank. That was one of the better trades he could have hoped for, I feel. In eliminating some of those BCs, now remaxing with 4 Ultras, a few Infestors, 10 Hydras. No Swarmos on the map just yet, but you can see how much those 3-3 Battle Cruisers can actually tank versus Hydras.
Yeah, going into Ultras next, and not a bad choice considering his Queen count. He's got a lot of Queens just in the middle of the map waiting, about 8 of them with decent energy. And, you know, this is an army that Snute can crush. He is remaxed. And he's got a decent bank behind it as well. And now that we see INnoVation moving onto creep, I think we should see Snute actually going for the kill.
All right, well, you know, he's setting up for it. There's a lot of spine crawlers to slow this down. And any tank that gets pulled into the range of those spine crawlers is obviously going to get destroyed in seconds.
Oh, look at this.
Actually going to engage this. It looks like it was so scary to fight this.
Hydra's actually coming from behind as well while this is all happening.
That pulls a Thor and a siege tank. Battlecruiser is actually just going to fight this straight up because he's got so many good upgrades. Can actually take a fight over here on the right side as well. These are not planetaries, these are orbitals. But with siege tanks, a good fighting on the BCs, it looks like he is going to be able to fend this off.
Yeah, those BCs are now 3-3 there. It's so hard to kill with Hydras.
Yeah, the Hydras don't have +3 attack just yet. They're almost there. Kills another CC. He's trying to whittle down INnoVation at this point.
He's doing a good job. INnoVation has no bank at all. He's forced to throw down a new base. His 5th base has been secured. He doesn't have many SCVs at this point. He's just really relying on mules and nothing else.
Yeah. Snute on the same hand is very low on drones as well comparatively. I mean, he's 3 Harvesters even lower, which allows him to also have a large army supply. He doesn't need more drones than this really because he does have most of his gases saturated. This base, the only one that doesn't have gas, is up right now. And, you know, Snute not in a bad spot, all things considered.
No, I think he's right at home here. We've seen Snute in this kind of situation so many times. But it's never easy against this kind of mech Terran, especially if they can secure those later bases. The game just goes on for so much longer when they have that chance of throwing down 10 mules at a time.
A lot of scans here for INnoVation as he tries to get an idea of where Snute is moving. A lot of repairs going down as well, which is very important. Neural Parasite now on the way. Not a bad choice considering all the BCs it got here.
Yeah, not a bad choice at all. I kind of like that.
Ooh, some infested Terran harass as well. And a fungal growth to lock down those mules.
Too bad they were all out of time. Just a bit unlucky there.
Still, I mean, that was a good idea. It definitely could have worked out if the timing was a little bit better. Huge changing course to check as well.
Shows you how much experience he has with this map, that he knows the range of an infestor's fungal to actually hit mineral patch like that.
All right, INnoVation wandering back onto creep here again. Queen count still up there at 8. He's going to actually come up here to the right side, maybe try to snatch some of these tanks. He actually has some blinding clouds here.
All right. This could do something. There's still a few tanks shooting there. And a big distraction at the front there. Queen's tying up these battle cruisers for some time.
Yeah.
Hard to say if it's worth it there.
He kills a few siege tanks, but he loses a lot of Queens. His fungals does not eliminate those repairing SCVs. They're still alive.
Gets the 5th base there. That's actually a big win. But remaxing now, he's making 5 Ultras, 34 Hydras. Got to get them out in time.
Yamato cannon upgrade, the weapon refit is on the way for the BCs, so that he can actually help deal with these annoying Ultras a little bit better, as well as helping to deal with those Vipers. And that's going to make these BCs even more powerful. There are 7 of them currently on the map with an 8th on the way. And they're all pretty much at full energy and full health. They're constantly being repaired by these SCVs, which is why I think this tech of Infestors in here to try to fungal those SCVs and actually wipe them out is a pretty good choice.
Yeah, I like that. If you can grab a couple of these BCs and use their Yamato cannons, even better. So many Hydras out now, and that is completely maxed out from Snute again. And it looks like INnoVation is going to be the one making the move on the creep again. It's a huge Spine Forest there, waiting for it.
Yep, he's just going to move these out of siege range as soon as the tank siege up, buying himself more and more time. Spore Crawler's even holding their own here against the BCs briefly. And we might see some Yamatos go down. He's actually swinging around to maybe try to take out this 5th base again before it finishes. It should absolutely get it with this many Hydras. There's the cancel. And actually could take out quite a few of these SCVs on his way down as well.
Yeah, this is a big move, and he's going to kind of corner his army, which is the scary thing. So he's going to be very careful with positioning. He's running into like a couple of tanks, a BC, and a planetary.
Yeah. Oh my god, that planetary is doing so much damage right now, Moonblade. So much slash to those Hydras.
He's going to try and get out here, but he took a lot of losses. Down about 50 supply from where he started. He can remax that.
Just trying to get in there, they can't.
Wow, ambitious move here.
We'll slow down the Terran army and allow the most of his Hydras to escape.
And keeping INnoVation on 4 bases at this point in the game is a huge move as well. If he can keep doing this for a little while longer, that money is just going to run dry. You know, that 4th base isn't really even mining. There's no mules on it currently.
Yeah. Killing a few siege tanks here and there as well. Will want to leave here at this point, but his bank as well is getting very low, so he needs to be careful about trading these expensive Ultras. He can trade a few Hydras here and there, but he cannot be losing Ultras. 2 of them, you know, try and sneak into the main base. A few more siege tanks get taken out. He defends his base and takes a supply lead.
I think the hardest thing in the end of all this is going to be dealing with these BCs. He can get rid of all the tanks he wants, maybe even the Vikings, but these BCs are so hard to kill with Hydras.
Snute really showing his multitasking ability here. One Yamato does take out that Ultra, but he's harassing all over the place. He's killing turrets, he's killing siege tanks here and there. He's trying to, again, whittle down this ground army. BC is still a problem, but maybe he can use Neural Parasite to help deal with that. He does have 5 Infestors, 2 more on the way, and a lot of energy on most of those Infestors that are currently on the map.
Yeah, I think getting rid of the tank count is going to help a lot with using these Infestors, because if INnoVation sees him, he's going to just simply focus him down with siege tanks. He's going to make sure they are locked down, maybe blinding clouded, or just killed. I mean, there is 7 Vipers currently on the map as well. That's going to help out. Sorry, take that 11.
Yeah, a lot. Oh my god, that's actually so much gas. Well, again, INnoVation takes a supply lead, but he is, you know, he's kind of locked down on his side of the map. Moving on to creep, very difficult. Eliminating that gold base to the right side was really important. Snute's now trying to take the center base instead. Ooh, fungal growths. Very risky move.
So he's going to get away with it.
Yeah, he does.
This is scary, but this is going to be a bit of a problem to deal with. That is so many battle cruisers. Currently sitting at about 9. All of them have a Yamato cannon, at least 1 each.
Pulling siege tanks into Hydras, Blinding Cloud, and Spine Crawlers. Ooh, a few Hydras actually getting a bit ahead of themselves. Needs a fungal here. Can he get one?
Oh!
Yes, he does!
Now that's a big move.
And he chains it. And he's just going to wipe out the majority of these Vikings. 1 more fungal and a few more Hydras to finish them off. That's going to make his Vipers able to move so much more freely.
Yeah, a lot more freedom now. He can actually start poking and even abduct a bunch more. Maybe even some battle cruisers.
Yeah. Ooh, 2 Ultras for 1 siege tank. That's never going to be good, though. Very expensive trade here, and the bank is non-existent for Snute at this point. The guy's out of money.
He's running low. That gold base is all dried up at this point. Really only 1 base left mining. Snute might just go for the attack here. He does see INnoVation retreating, so maybe he's going to go for some abducts.
And that he does. 2, 3, 4 abducts, 5, and 6. Fungal growth's going down. Where are the Neurals? Needs to use some Neurals here if he wants to actually do more with this.
Yeah, he's actually pulling an army that's going to kill him into his army.
Yeah, it looks like this might actually be the end here in game number 1. Perhaps a bit of a suicidal move there to actually pull those, because they're going to be able to take a good fight against Hydras. They've got 3/3 upgrades, and there's not a massive Hydra count that there was before.
Yeah, it's not like he's pulling into 40 Hydras here. He's pulling into about 15 Hydras, and these 3 BCs can actually just go toe-to-toe with them.
I mean, he's almost got like a 1-1 ratio of BCs to Hydras at this point.
At this point, yeah.
He's got more Hydras, or almost for a moment there, he had more BCs than there were Hydras. And now Snute down to 118 supply. He's being pushed back here. The repair is good on these BCs. The money is unlimited for INnoVation because he keeps just dropping massive mules on that center base.
He's also got that gold base now, making a planetary there, so he's extending his life even further. His counterattack, maybe able to get this planetary, which is a pretty important move at this point. There's so much income coming from there.
Yeah. Going down. 12 SCVs. Ooh, he didn't pull the Ultra away. Maybe he thought he was going to finish it off and kill it. 2 Yamatos will finish that Ultralisk. The base survives, and Snute is down for the count here. He doesn't have much left to use. He's got a bunch of Spore Crawlers to hide behind, but that's about it.
That's about it. Gonna go try the empty planetary. Not really any mining happening here, but it's gonna mean the rest of his army is gonna get cleaned up as well.
Really liking Snoot's multitasking that he's already showing us in this first game. His multi-prong Hydralisk harass has been quite effective. He's really good at making a small group of Hydras, a small group of units worth so much. It's just that now he's really out of money and he's out of units. He's going to eventually be worn down by these BCs that he was never able to deal with.
Yeah, 200 supply to 83. 200 supply is mech as well. Not much hope left for Snute in this game. But it was always going to be a hard match to play on Vani Research. Well, especially against the mech Terran.
Yamato cannons on all of these Spore Crawlers. Just got so much firepower here, it doesn't matter. The game is over. GG. INnoVation takes game number 1. A very, very, close game for parts of it. I have to say, Snute surprising me with how well he dealt with INnoVation's mech.
Yeah, it really went the distance. Playing a much more passive game against a mech Terran. A lot of Zergs will be pressured to really just try and do the damage early on, especially in that kind of map where the third base is a little bit more exposed. Maybe go for a roach taunt into mutas or mutas into roach and try and trip them up before they take that to the late game. But, yeah, Snute,